Share. All right. Just got done with another cold shower. I'm going to go ahead and write those in on the Brainstorm 1 document. Actually, I'll say this one was like my legitimate first long cold shower. It was longer than 5 minutes. The rest of them have been like 1 to 2 minutes, just getting in, getting out. But I'm starting to get used to being cold. So, did I do that one already? Sorry, I gotta just double check real quick. Yep. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So let's go ahead and AV20 cold shower. Yeah. I'm going to start taking them in the morning. So tomorrow morning, my goal, when I wake up, just hop right in. Took me about 20 minutes to hop in, but I adapted within seconds. Like, it's so fast how quick the body gets warm. So AV20. I'm going to change up next week's schedule as well. Actually, I think I might as well go ahead and do that now. Actually, no, I'm just going to keep it as is and then just kind of do it as I want to. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, I'll just do it as I go. So, all right, Bible AV21, 22. Let's go ahead and get those finished. AV21. AV21 goes through Joshua chapter 2. So let's go ahead and finish up Deuteronomy. So Deuteronomy 28. Finish Deuteronomy up, and then Joshua 1 and 2. Hold on, I gotta go lay down for a second. My belly's not going in all the way. Yeah. I have an umbilical hernia, so I'm always pressing or feeling it to see if I need to press it in or not. That time I needed to, so 100, okay. All right, Deuteronomy 28. And if you will without fail listen to the voice of Jehovah your God by being careful to do all his commandments that I am commanding you today, Jehovah your God will certainly put you high above all other nations of the earth. All these blessings will come upon you and overtake you because you keep listening to the voice of Jehovah your God. Blessed you will be in the city, and blessed you will be in the fields. Blessed you will be your children, and the fruit of your ground, and the offspring of your livestock, your young cattle and sheep. Blessed will be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed you will be when you come in, and blessed you will be when you go out. Jehovah will cause your enemies who rise up against you to be defeated before you. They will attack you from one direction, but they will flee from you in 7 different directions. Jehovah will decree for you a blessing on your storehouses and every undertaking of yours, and he will certainly bless you in the land that Jehovah your God is giving you. Jehovah will establish you as a holy people to himself, just as he swore to you. because you continue to keep the commandments of Jehovah your God and walk in his ways. All the peoples of the earth will have to see that Jehovah's name has been called upon you, and they will be afraid of you. Jehovah will make you overflow with many children and much livestock and fruitful ground in the land that Jehovah swore to your forefathers to give to you. Jehovah will open up to you his good storehouse, the heavens, to give your rain or your land rain in its season, and to bless all that you do. You will lend to many nations, while you yourself will not need to borrow. Jehovah will make you the head and not the tail, and you will be on top and not on the bottom. If you keep obeying the commandments of Jehovah your God that I am commanding you today to observe and to do. You must not deviate from all the words that I am commanding you today, to the right or to the left, to walk after other gods to serve them. But if you will not listen to the voice of Jehovah your God by taking care to do all his commandments and his statutes that I am commanding you today, all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. Cursed you will be in the city, and cursed you will be in the field. Cursed will be your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed will be your children, and the fruit of your ground, and your young cattle and sheep. Cursed you will be when you come in, and cursed you will be when you go out. Jehovah will send upon you the curse, confusion, and punishment in every undertaking of yours until you have been annihilated and have quickly perished because of your bad practices and your forsaking me. Jehovah will cause the disease to cling to you until he has exterminated you from the land you are going to take possession of. Jehovah will strike you with tuberculosis, burning fever, inflammation, feverish heat, the sword, scorching blight, and mildew, and they will pursue you until you have perished. The skies over your head will be copper, and the earth beneath you iron. Jehovah will make the rain of your land powder and dust that will come down on you from the heavens until you have been annihilated. Jehovah will cause you to be defeated before your enemies, and you will attack them from one direction, but you will flee from them in 7 different directions, and you will become an object of horror to all the earth's kingdoms, and your carcasses will become food for every bird of the sky and animal of the ground, and no one to frighten them away. Jehovah will strike you with the boils of Egypt, piles, eczema, and skin lesions, from which you cannot be healed. Jehovah will strike you with madness and blindness and confusion. You will grope about at midday, just as a blind man gropes about in darkness, and you will not succeed in anything you begin to use it. Hold on. Anything you do, and you will be constantly defrauded and robbed with no one to save you. You will become engaged to a woman, but another man will rape her. You will build a house, but you will not live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will not begin to use it. Your bull will be slaughtered before your eyes, but you will not eat any of it. Your donkey will be stolen right in front of you, but it will not return to you. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, but you will have no savior. Your sons and your daughters will be given to another people. While you look on, and you will always long for them, but your hands will be powerless. The fruitage of your ground and all that you practice will be eaten by a people whom you have not known, and you will always be defrauded and crushed. You will be driven mad by what your eyes see. Jehovah will strike you with painful and incurable boils on your knees and your legs, from the sole of your foot to the crown of your head. Jehovah will drive you and the king whom you set up over yourself to a nation that you and your forefathers have not known, and there you will serve other gods, gods of wood and stone, and you will become an object of horror and of scorn, and a cause for ridicule among all the peoples to whom Jehovah drives you. You will take much seed out into the fields, but you will gather little, because the locust will devour it. Vineyards you will plant and cultivate, but you will drink no wine and gather nothing, because the worm will consume it. You will have olive trees in your territory, but you will rub no oil on yourself, because your olives will drop off. Sons and daughters you will bear, but they will not remain yours, because they will go off into captivity. Swarms of insects will overwhelm all your trees and the fruitage of your ground. The foreign resident who is in your midst will keep ascending higher and higher over you, while you yourself will keep descending lower and lower. He will lend to you, but you will not lend to him. He will become the head, while you yourself will become the tail. All these curses will certainly come upon you and pursue you and overtake you until you have been annihilated, because you did not listen to the voice of Jehovah your God by keeping his commandments and his statutes that he commanded you. And they will continue on you and your offspring as a permanent sign and portent, because you did not serve Jehovah your God with rejoicing and joy of heart when you had such an abundance of everything. Jehovah will send your enemies against you, and you will serve them while you are hungry and thirsty and poorly clothed and lacking everything. He will put an iron yoke on your neck until he has annihilated you. Jehovah will raise up against you a distant nation from the end of the earth. It will pounce like an eagle, a nation whose language you will not understand, a nation fierce in appearance that will show no regard to the old or favor to the young. They will eat the offspring of your livestock and the fruitage of your ground until you have been annihilated. They will not leave any grain, new wine or oil, young cattle or sheep for you until they have destroyed you. They will besiege you, shutting you up inside all your cities throughout your land until your high and fortified walls that you are trusting in fall down. Yes, they will certainly besiege you within all your cities throughout your land that Jehovah your God has given you. Then you will have to eat your own children, the flesh of your sons and your daughters, whom Jehovah your God has given you, because of the severity of the siege and the distress your enemy inflicts on you. Even the most delicate and sensitive man among you will have no pity on his brother or his cherished wife or his sons who remain, and he will not share with them any of the flesh of his sons that he will eat, because he has nothing else on it on account of the severity of the siege and the distress that your enemy inflicts on your cities. And the delicate and sensitive woman among you, who would not even think of putting the sole of her foot on the ground because she is so delicate, will show no pity to her cherished husband or her son or her daughter, even toward the afterbirth that comes from between her legs and toward the son she bears, for she will secretly eat them because of the severity of the siege and the distress your enemy inflicts on your cities. If you will not carefully observe all the words of this law that are written in this book, you do not fear this glorious and awe-inspiring name, that of Jehovah your God, Jehovah will inflict very severe plagues on you and your offspring, great and enduring plagues, and grievous and enduring sicknesses. He will bring back upon you all the diseases of Egypt that you used to fear, and they will certainly cling to you. Moreover, Jehovah will even bring upon you every sickness or plague not written in the book of this law until you have been annihilated. Although you have become as numerous as the stars of the heavens, very few of your number will be left, because you did not listen to the voice of Jehovah your God. And just as Jehovah once delighted to make you prosper and to multiply you, so Jehovah will delight to destroy you and to annihilate you, and you will be torn from the land you are about to possess. Jehovah will scatter you among all the nations, from the one end of the earth to the other end of the earth, and there you will have to serve gods of wood and of stone, which you and your forefathers have not known. You will have no peace among those nations, nor a place of rest for the sole of your foot. Rather, Jehovah will give you there an anxious heart, and failing eyes, and a feeling of despair. Your life will be in great peril, and you will feel dread night and day, and you will be uncertain of your survival. In the morning you will say, if only it were evening, and in the evening you will say, if only it were morning, because of the dread that you will feel in your heart, and because of what your eyes will see. And Jehovah will certainly bring you back to Egypt by ship, by the way that I told you. You will never see it again, and there you will have to sell yourselves to your enemies as male and female slaves, but there will be no buyer. Deuteronomy 29. These are the words of the covenant that Jehovah commanded Moses to make with the people of Israel in the land of Moab, in addition to the covenants that he made with them at Horeb. Moses then called together all Israel and said to them, You have seen all that Jehovah did before your eyes in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh and all his servants and all his land, the great judgments that your eyes saw, those great signs and miracles, but Jehovah has not given you a heart to understand and eyes to see and ears to hear, down to this day. While I kept guiding you for 40 years in the wilderness, your garments did not wear out on you, and your sandals did not wear out on your feet. You did not eat bread, and you did not drink wine or anything alcoholic, so that you would know that I am Jehovah your God. You eventually came to this place, and Sihon, the king of Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out to meet us in battle, but we defeated them. After that, we took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of the Manassites. Therefore, observe the words of this covenant and obey them, so that everything you do will turn out well. All of you are stationed today before Jehovah your God, the heads of your tribes, your elders, your officers, every man of Israel, your children, your wives, and your foreign resident, who is in the midst of your camp, from the one gathering your wood to the one drawing your water. You are here in order to enter into the covenant of Jehovah your God and his oath, which Jehovah your God is making with you today, in order that he may establish you today as his people, and that he may be your God, just as he has promised you, and just as he swore to your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now it is not with you alone that I am making this covenant and this oath, but it is with those standing here with us today before Jehovah our God, and with those who are not here with us today. For you well know how we lived in the land of Egypt, and how we passed through the midst of various nations on our journey. And you used to see their detestable things and their disgusting idols of wood and stone, silver and gold that were among them. Beware that there may not be a man or a woman, a family or a tribe among you today, whose heart turns away from Jehovah our God to go serve the gods of those nations, that there may not be a root among you producing poisonous fruit and wormwood. But if someone hears the words of this oath and boasts in his heart, saying, I will have peace, though I insist on walking in the ways of my own heart, to the ruin of everything in his path, Jehovah will not be willing to forgive him. Instead, Jehovah's great anger will blaze against that man, and the entire curse written in his book will certainly come upon him. And Jehovah will indeed wipe out his name from under the heavens. Jehovah will then single him out from all the tribes of Israel for calamity, in accord with the entire curse of the covenant that is written in this book of the law. When the future generation of your sons and the foreigner from a distant land see the plagues of the land, the maladies that Jehovah has brought upon it, sulfur and salt and burning, and that its whole land will not be sown or sprout, nor will any vegetation spring up in it, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which Jehovah overthrew in his anger and in his wrath, they and all the nations will say, why did Jehovah do this to this land? What caused this great burning anger? Then they will say, it was because they abandoned the covenant of Jehovah, the God of their forefathers, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. But they went and served other gods and bowed down to them, gods that they had not known and that he had not permitted them to worship. Then Jehovah's burning anger came against that land by bringing upon it the entire curse written in this book. Therefore, Jehovah uprooted them from their soil in his anger and fury and great indignation, and deported them to another land where they are today. The things concealed belong to Jehovah our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our descendants forever, so that we may carry out all the words of this law. Deuteronomy 30. When all these words come upon you, the blessing and the curse that I have put before you, and you call them to mind, in all the nations where Jehovah your God has dispersed you, and you return to Jehovah your God, and listen to his voice, according to all that I am commanding you today, you and your sons, with all your heart and all your soul, Jehovah your God will then bring back your captives and show you mercy, and regather you from all the peoples where Jehovah your God has scattered you. Even if your people are dispersed to bring extremity of the heavens, from there Jehovah your God will gather you and bring you back. Jehovah your God will bring you into the land your fathers took possession of, and you will possess it. And he will make you prosper and will multiply you more than your fathers. Jehovah your God will cleanse your heart and the heart of your offspring, so that you will love Jehovah your God with all your heart and all your soul, and you may live. Then Jehovah your God will bring all these curses upon your enemies who hated and persecuted you. You will then return and listen to the voice of Jehovah and observe all his commandments that I am commanding you today. Jehovah your God will make you abundantly prosperous in all the work of your hands, multiplying your children and your livestock and the produce of the ground, for Jehovah will again delight to make you prosper as he delighted in your forefathers. For then you will listen to the voice of Jehovah your God and keep his commandments and statutes written in this book of the law, and you will return to Jehovah your God with all your heart and all your soul. Now this commandment that I am commanding you today is not too difficult for you, nor is it beyond your reach. It is not in the heavens, so that you have to say, who will ascend to the heavens and get it for us, so that we may hear and observe it? Nor is it on the other side of the sea, so that you have to say, who will cross over to the other side of the sea and get it for us, so that we may hear it and observe it? For the word is very near you, in your own mouth and in your own heart, so that you may do it. See, I do put before you today life and good, and death and bad. If you listen to the commandments of Jehovah your God that I am commanding you today, by loving Jehovah your God, by walking in his ways, and by keeping his commandments and his statutes and his judicial decisions, then you will live and multiply, and Jehovah your God will bless you in the land you are going to possess. But if your heart turns away and you do not listen, and you are enticed and bow down to other gods and serve them, I tell you today that you will certainly perish. You will not live long in the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. I take the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you today that I have put life and death before you, and blessing and the curse. And you must choose life so that you may live, you and your descendants, by loving Jehovah your God, by listening to his voice, and by sticking to him. For he is your life, and by him you will endure a long time in the land that Jehovah swore to give to your forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Deuteronomy 31. Then Moses went out and spoke these words to all Israel, saying to them, I am 120 years old today. Nice. I can no longer lead you, for Jehovah has said to me, you will not cross this Jordan. Jehovah your God is the one crossing before you, and he himself will annihilate these nations before you, and you will drive them away. Joshua is the one who will lead you across, just as Jehovah has spoken. Jehovah will do to them just as he did to Sihon and to Og, the kings of the Amorites, and to their lands when he annihilated them. Jehovah will defeat them for you, and you are to do to them according to the whole commandment that I have given you. Be courageous and strong. Do not be afraid or struck with terror before them, for Jehovah your God is the one marching with you. He will neither desert you nor abandon you. Moses then called Joshua and said to him before the eyes of all Israel, Be courageous and strong, for you are the ones who will bring this people into the land that Jehovah swore to their forefathers to give to them, and you will give it to them as an inheritance. Jehovah is the one marching before you, and he will continue with you. He will neither desert nor abandon you. Do not be afraid or be terrified. Then Moses wrote this law and gave it to the priests, the Levites, who carry the ark of Jehovah's covenant, and to all the elders of Israel. Moses commanded them, saying, At the end of every 7 years, at the appointed time in the year of release, during the festival of booths, when all Israel appears before the presence of Jehovah, your God, in place of that he chooses, you should read his law for all children to hear it. Gather the people together, the men, the women, the children, and your foreign resident who is within your cities, in order that they may listen and learn about and fear Jehovah your God, and take care to carry out all the words of this law. Then their sons who have not known this law will listen, and learn to fear Jehovah your God all the days that you live in the lands that you are crossing the Jordan to possess." Jehovah then said to Moses, "Look, the time is drawn near for you to die. Call Joshua and present yourself at the tent of meeting so that I may commission him." So Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves at the tent of meeting. Then Jehovah appeared at the tent in the pillar of the cloud, and the pillar of cloud stood by the entrance of the tent. Jehovah now said to Moses, "Look, you are about to die, and this people will begin to commit spiritual prostitution with the foreign gods that are around them in the lands to which they are going. They will forsake me and break my covenant that I have made with them. At that time, my anger will blaze against them, and I will forsake them and hide my face from them until they are devoured. Then, after many calamities and distress have come upon them, they will say, 'Is it not because our God is not in our midst that these calamities have come upon us?' But I will keep my face hidden in that day because of all the wickedness that they have done in turning to other gods. Now write down this song for yourselves and teach it to the Israelites. Have them learn it, in order that this song may serve as my witness against the people of Israel. When I bring them to the lands that I have sworn about to their forefathers, one flowing with milk and honey, and they eat their fill and prosper, they will turn to other gods and serve them and treat me with disrespect and break my covenant. When many calamities and distresses come upon them, this song will serve as a witness to them, for their descendants should not forget it. For I already know the inclination that they have developed, even before I bring them into the land about which I have sworn." So Moses wrote down this song in that day and taught it to the Israelites. He then commissioned Joshua, the son of Nun, and said, "Be courageous and strong, for you are the one who will bring the Israelites into the land about which I have sworn to them, and I will continue with you." As soon as Moses had completed writing the words of this law in a book in their entirety, Moses commanded the Levites who carry the ark of Jehovah's covenant, saying, "Take this book of the law and place it at the sides of the ark of the covenant of Jehovah your God, and it will serve as a witness there against you. For I myself well know your rebelliousness and your stubbornness. If you have been so rebellious against Jehovah while I am still alive with you, then how much more so will you be after my death? Gather together to me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, and let me speak these words in their hearing, and let me take the heavens and the earth and witness against them. For I well know that after my death you will surely act wickedly, and turn aside from the way about which I have commanded you, and calamity will certainly befall you at the close of the days, because you will do what is bad in the eyes of Jehovah, and you will offend him by the works of your hands." Then, in the hearing of the entire congregation of Israel, Moses recited the words of this song from beginning to end. All right, so my plan tomorrow, I'm going to buy a couple tomatoes, an onion. I have some garlic. I'm going to toss all the stuff that I bought from Costco because I just wasted it. So I think I might go stop by Chuck's Produce or that natural food store. And I'm going to go buy me, I need some garlic. I'm going to need some tomatoes. And I'm going to need some celery and some onion. And then what I'll do is I will. Oh no! I'm gonna actually hold off. I'm gonna hold off on that, and I'll make a video after this describing how I'm gonna make it. So I'll go to the next thing. Deuteronomy 32. Give ear, O heavens, and I will speak, and let the earth hear the words of my mouth. My instruction will fall as the rain, my words will trickle as the dew, as gentle rains upon grass, and as copious showers upon vegetation. For I will declare the name of Jehovah tell about the greatness of our God. The rock perfect in his activity, for all his ways are justice, a God of faithfulness, who is never unjust. Righteous and upright is he. They are the ones who have acted corruptly. They are not his children. The defect is their own. They are a crooked and twisted generation. Is this the way that you should treat Jehovah, O foolish and unwise people? Is he not your father who caused your existence, the one who made you and firmly established you? Remember the days of old. Consider the years of past generations. Ask your father, and he can tell you. Your elders, and they will inform you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided the sons of Adam from one another, he fixed the boundary of the peoples with regard for the number of the sons of Israel. For Jehovah's people are his portion. Jacob is his inheritance. He found him in a wilderness land and in an empty, howling desert. He protectively encircled him, took care of him, and safeguarded him as the pupil of his eye. Just as an eagle stirs up its nest, hovers over its fledglings, spreading out its wings, taking them, carrying them on its pinions. Jehovah alone kept leading him. No foreign god was with him. He made him ride upon earth's high places, so that he ate the produce of the field. He nourished him with honey from the crag and oil out of flinty rock, butter of the herd and milk of the flock, together with the choicest sheep and rams of Bashan and he-goats, together with the finest wheat, and you drank wine from the blood of grapes. When Jeshurun grew fat, he kicked out rebelliously. You have grown fat, you have become stout, you have become bloated. So he forsook God who made him, and despised the rock of his salvation. They incited him to fury with foreign gods. They were offending him with detestable things. They were sacrificing to demons, not to God, to gods that they had not known. New ones that came along recently, to gods that your forefathers did not know. You forgot the rock who fathered you, and you did not remember the God who gave birth to you. When Jehovah saw it, he rejected them, because his sons and his daughters offended him. So he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what will become of them, for they are a perverse generation, sons in whom there is no faithfulness. They have incited me to fury with what is not a god. They have offended me with their worthless idols, so I will incite them to jealousy with what is not a people. I will offend them with a foolish nation. For my anger has kindled a fire that will burn to the depths of the grave, and it will consume the earth and its produce, and will set ablaze the foundations of mountains. I will increase their calamities. I will use up my arrows on them. They will be exhausted from hunger and eaten up by burning fever and bitter destruction. I will send the teeth of beasts against them, and the venom of reptiles of the dust. Outside a sword will bereave them. Inside there is terror, for both young man and virgin, infant together with gray-haired man. I would have said, I will scatter them. I will make the memory of them cease from among men. If not for my dread of the enemy's reaction, because the adversaries might misconstrue it, they might say, our power has triumphed. It was not Jehovah who did all this. For they are a nation devoid of sense, and there is no understanding among them. If only they were wise, they would ponder over this. They would think about their outcome. How could one chase after 1,000 and put 10,000 to flight? Not unless their rock has sold them, and Jehovah had surrendered them. For their rock is not like our rock. Even our enemies have understood this. For their vine is from the vine of Sodom, and from the terraces of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of poison. Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the venom of serpents, the cruel poison of cobras. Is this not stored up with me, sealed up in my storehouse? Vengeance is mine, and retribution at the appointed time when their foot slips. For the day of their disaster is near. and what awaits them will come quickly. For Jehovah will judge his people, and he will feel pity for his servants. When he sees that their strength has waned, and that only the helpless and weak remain, then he will say, where are their gods, the rock in whom they sought refuge, who used to eat the fat of their sacrifices, to drink the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you, and let them become your place of refuge. See now that I am he, and there are no gods apart from me. I put to death and I make alive. I wound and I heal. I will heal, and no one can rescue from my hand. For I raise my hand to heaven, and I swear, as surely as I live forever, if I sharpen my flashing sword and prepare my hand for judgment, I will pay back vengeance on my adversaries and bring retribution to those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword will eat flesh, with the blood of the and the captives, with the heads of the leaders of the enemy. Be glad, you nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and he will repay vengeance to his adversaries, and will make atonement for the land of his people. Thus Moses came and recited all the words of the song in the hearing of the people, he and Hosea, the son of Nun. After Moses went speaking all these words to all Israel, he said to them, take to heart all the words of my warning to you today, so that you may command your sons to take care to do all the words of this law. For this is no empty word for you, but it means your life, and by this word you may live long in the lands that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. Jehovah spoke to Moses on the same day, saying, go up into this mountain of Abarim, Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, which faces toward Jericho, to view the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites as a possession. Then you will die on the mountain, and you are about to ascend and be gathered to your people, just as Aaron your brother died on Mount Hor and was gathered to his people, because both of you were unfaithful to me among the Israelites at the waters of Meribah, of Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin, because you did not sanctify me before the people of Israel. You will see the land from a distance, but you will not enter the lands that I am giving to the people of Israel. Deuteronomy 33. Now this is the blessing that Moses, the man of the true God, pronounced on the Israelites before his death. He said, Jehovah from Sinai he came, and he shone upon them from Seir. He shone forth in glory from the mountainous region of Paran, and with him were holy myriads, at his right hand his warriors. He had affection for his people. All their holy ones are in your hand. They were sitting at your feet. They began to listen to your words. Moses gave us a command, a law, as a possession of the congregation of Jacob, and he became a king of Jeshurun. When the heads of the people gathered together, along with all the tribes of Israel, let Reuben live and not die off, and may his men not become few. And he pronounced this blessing on Judah. Hear, O Jehovah, the voice of Judah, and may you bring him back to his people. His arms have defended what belongs to him, and may you help him against his adversaries. Of Levi, he said, your Thummim and your Urim belong to the man loyal to you, whom you put to the test at Massah. You began to contend with him by the waters of Meribah. The man who said to his father and his mother, I have not shown regard to them. Even his brothers he did not acknowledge, and he ignored his own sons, for they kept your word, and they observed your covenant. Let them instruct Jacob in your judicial decisions, and Israel in your law. Let them offer up incense as a pleasant aroma for you, and a whole offering on your altar. Bless, O Jehovah, his strength, and may you show pleasure in the work of his hands. Crush the legs of those who rise up against him, and that those who hate him may rise up no more. Of Benjamin he said, let the beloved one of Jehovah reside in security by him, while he shelters him the whole day. He will reside between his shoulders. Of Joseph he said, may his land be blessed by Jehovah with the choice things of heaven, with dew and the waters from the springs below, with choice things produced by the sun, and the choice yields each month, with the choicest things from the ancient mountains, and choice things of the enduring hills, with the choice things of the earth and what fills it, and with the approval of the one residing in the thorn bush, May they come upon the head of Joseph, on the crown of the head of the one singled out from his brothers. His splendor is like that of a firstborn bull, and his horns are the horns of a wild bull. With them he will push peoples all together to the ends of the earth. They are the tens of thousands of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh. Of Zebulun he said, Rejoice, O Zebulun, in your going out, and you, Issachar, in your tents. They will call peoples to the mountain. There they will offer the sacrifices of righteousness, for they will draw from the abundant wealth of the seas and the hidden hoards of the sand. Of Gad he said, Blessed is the one widening the borders of Gad. He lies there like a lion, ready to tear off the arm, yes, the crown of the head. He will select the first portion for himself, for there the allotment of a lawgiver is reserved. The heads of the people will gather together. The righteousness of Jehovah he will execute. In his judicial decisions with Israel of Dan, he said, Dan is a lion cub. He will leap out from Bashan. Of Naphtali, he said, Naphtali is satisfied with the approval and full of the blessing of Jehovah. Take possession of the west and south. Of Asher, he said, Blessed with sons is Asher. May he be favored by his brothers, and may he dip his feet in oil. Iron and copper are your gate locks, and you will be secure all your days. There is none like the true God of Jeshurun, who rides through heaven to help you, and who rides upon the clouds in his majesty. God is a refuge from the ancient times. His everlasting arms are beneath you, and he will drive away the enemy from before you, and he will say, Annihilate them. Israel will reside in security, and the fountain of Jacob will be secluded in a land of grain and new wine, whose skies will drip with dew. Happy you are, O Israel. Who is there like you, a people enjoying salvation in Jehovah, your protective shield, and your majestic sword? Your enemies will cringe before you, and you will tread on their backs. Deuteronomy 34. Then Moses went up from the desert plains of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, which faces Jericho, and Jehovah showed him all the land, from Gilead to Dan, and all Naphtali and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah as far as the western sea, and the Negeb and the district, the valley plain of Jericho, the city of the palm trees as far as Zoar. Jehovah then said to him, This is the land about which I have sworn to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, To your offspring I will give it. I have let you see it with your own eyes, but you will not cross over there. After that, Moses the servant of Jehovah died there in the land of Moab, just as Jehovah had said. He buried him in the valley of the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor, and nobody knows where his grave is down to this day. Moses was 120 years old at his death. His eyes had not grown dim, and his strength had not departed. The people of Israel wept for Moses on the desert plains of Moab for 30 days. Then the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were completed. Joshua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hand on him, and the Israelites began to listen to him, and they did just as Jehovah had commanded Moses. But there was never again arisen a prophet in Israel like Moses, whom Jehovah knew face to face. He performed all the signs and the miracles that Jehovah had sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh and all his servants and all his land, along with the mighty hand and the awesome power that Moses displayed before the eyes of all Israel. All right, that's the end of Deuteronomy. All right, Joshua chapter 1. After the death of Moses, the servant of Jehovah, Jehovah said to Joshua, the son of Nun, the minister of Moses, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now get up, cross the Jordan, you and all this people, and go into the land that I am giving to them, to the people of Israel. I will give you every place on which you set your foot, just as I promised Moses. Your territory will extend from the wilderness up to Lebanon, and to the great river, the Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and to the great sea on the west. No one will be able to take a stand against you as long as you live, just as I was with Moses, and so I was with you. So I will be with you. I will neither desert nor abandon you. Be courageous and strong, for you are the one who will cause this people to inherit the land that I swore to their forefathers I would give to them. Only be courageous and very strong, and observe carefully the entire law that Moses my servant commanded you. Do not deviate from it to the right or to the left, so that you may act wisely wherever you go. This book of the law should not depart from your mouth, and you must read it in an undertone, day and night, in order to observe carefully all that is written in it. For then your way will be successful, and then you will act wisely. Have I not commanded you? Be courageous and strong. Do not be struck with terror or fear, for Jehovah your God is with you wherever you go. Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people, pass throughout the camp and give this command to the people. Get provisions ready, because in 3 days you will cross the Jordan to go in and take possession of the land that Jehovah your God has given you to possess. And the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joshua said, remember what Moses the servant of Jehovah commanded you. Jehovah your God is giving you rest and has given you this land. Your wives, your children, and your livestock will dwell in the land that Moses has given you on this side of the Jordan. But all you mighty warriors should cross over in battle formation ahead of your brothers. You must help them until Jehovah gives your brothers rest, just as he has given you. And they must also take possession of the land that Jehovah your God is giving them. Then return to the land you were given to occupy and take possession of it, the land that Moses, the servant of Jehovah, gave you on the east side of Jordan. They answered Joshua, we will do all that you have commanded, and we will go wherever you send us. Just as we listened to everything Moses said, so we will listen to you. Only way Jehovah your God may be with you as he was with Moses. Any man who rebels against your order and does not obey every command you give him will be put to death. Only be courageous and strong. Joshua 2. Then Joshua, the son of Nun, secretly sent out 2 men from Shittim as spies. He told them, go and inspect the land, especially Jericho. So they went and came to the house of a prostitute named Rahab, and they stayed there. The king of Jericho was told, look, Israelite men have come in here tonight to spy out the land. At that, the king of Jericho sent word to Rahab, bring out the men who had came and are staying in your house, for they have come to spy out the entire land. But the woman took the 2 men and hid them. Then she said, yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they were from. And at dark, when the city gate was about to be closed, the men went out. I do not know where the men went, and if you quickly chase after them, you will catch up with them. However, she had taken them up to the roof and hidden them among stalks of flax laid in rows on the roof. So the men chased them in the direction of the Jordan at the fords, and the city gate was shut once the pursuers had gone out. Before the men lay down to sleep, she came up to them on the roof. She said to the men, I do not know that Jehovah will give you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen upon us. All the inhabitants of the land are disheartened because of you, for we heard how Jehovah dried up the waters of the Red Sea before you when you left Egypt, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites, Sihon and Og, whom you devoted to destruction on the other side of the Jordan. When we heard about it, we lost heart, and no one has any courage because of you. For Jehovah your God is God in the heavens above and on the earth beneath. Now please swear to me by Jehovah that because I showed loyal love to you, you will also show loyal love to my father's household, and you must give me a sign of good faith. You must spare the lives of my father and mother, my brother and sisters, and all who belong to them, and you must save us from death. At that the men said to her, we should give our lives for yours. If you do not tell us about our mission, then we will show loyal love and faithfulness towards you when Jehovah gives us the land. After that, she said to them, down by a rope through the window, for her house was on the side of the city wall. In fact, she was dwelling on the wall. But then she said to them, "Go to the mountainous region and hide there for 3 days, so that those pursuing you may not find you. Then, after your pursuers have come back, you can go on your way." The men said to her, "We will be free from guilt respecting this oath that you made us swear, unless we come into the land. You tied this cord of scarlet thread in the window by which you let us down. You should gather your father, your mother, your brothers, and all your father's household with you into the house. Then, if anyone goes to the doors of your house into the open, his blood will be on their own head, and we will be free from guilt. But if harm comes to anyone who remains with you in the house, his blood will be on our heads. But if you report our mission, we will be free from guilt respecting your oath that you made us swear." She replied, "Let it be according to your words." With that, she sent them off, and they went their way. Afterward, she tied the scarlet cord in the window, so she left and went to the mountainous region and stayed there for 3 days until the pursuers returned. The pursuers had been looking for them on every road, but they did not find them. The two men then descended from the mountainous region and crossed the river and came to Joshua, the son of Nun. They related to him all the things that had happened to them. Then they said to Joshua, "Jehovah has handed over the entire land to us. In fact, all the inhabitants of the land are disheartened because of us." That is the end of AV 8021.